Haruka is a high school loner. No friends, no clubs, just chilling in the background. But that peace doesn't last. One day, a giant magic circle appears in his classrooms, yanking everyone into another world. He tries to escape, but he's the last one dragged in. Next thing he knows, he's stuck in a weird skill selection dimension. The catch? All the good skills are first come first served, and since he was the last one in line, he gets stuck with garbage tier abilities. God, annoyed by his whining, dumps every leftover skills on him just to get rid of him. Haruka wakes up alone in the forest. Turns out one of his useless skills, loner, actually makes it easier to survive. Monsters don't bother him, and with some training, he starts leveling up. 5 days in, he's already thriving, setting up camp, then a cave mansion, hunting, and getting stronger. Haruka keeps grinding, and his loner skill levels up. But thanks to Master of None skill, basically the jack of all trades, Master of None curse, his overall level stays frozen. While exploring, he stumbles across the school nerds struggling against a goblin swarm. Even though they're already level 16, Haruka steps in, wipes up the goblins, and brings them back to a cave mansion. The nerds spill the tea. They expose the delinquents' plan to use the taboo skills and brainwash the girls into a harem. The delinquents trash the entire class camp in retaliation. The girl gang, instead of blaming the actual villains, decided to blame the nerds and kick them out. Classic high school logic. The nerds decide to monitor the delinquents while Haruka checks out the ruined camp. He runs into the girl group, now regretting their terrible decisions. Haruka agrees to help until he accidentally activates his skill, Subjugate, turning them into obedient slaves. Yeah, that happened. Just as he starts panicking about what his crush, the class rep, would think about this mess, she appears. Meanwhile, the delinquents, they are planning to take the girls by force. Haruka's cave mansion is big enough for the whole class, so when the class rep asks to stay, he agrees. But he wasn't ready for everyone except her to strip naked and hijack his bath like it's a spa day. Personal space? Gone. That night, the class rep breaks down, blaming herself for failing as a leader. Haruka comforts her, saying the nerds were prepared for this kind of mess. The next morning, the girls catch fish, something Haruka hasn't managed once. When Chika shows off her lightning magic, he copies it using packing, new skill unlocked. As the girls prepare to leave for a nearby town, the class rep insists Haruka to join. He agrees. At night, Haruka runs into the jocks, who warn him about a dangerous skill, hijack, which lets the user to skill skills by killing people. The delinquents don't have it, meaning one of the girls does. Turns out it's the class rep. She confesses her skill, expecting fear, but Haruka already knew and isn't even phased. Later, while traveling, Haruka rescues a group of adventurers from a wolf attack. After defeating the wolf solo, he meets After and his party, who guide them to the Omui town. Elsewhere, the delinquents are hunting down the nerds to steal their puppeteer skills. Yep, that's going to be a problem. The girls are already level 30, so class rep register everyone at the Adventurers Guild, except Haruka, because he doesn't comply with the minimum level 10 requirements. Later, he tries selling his huge load of monster crystals, but floods the market so hard that the guild literally runs out of money. He still walks away with a casual 8 million. Nice. While shopping, Haruka finds a rare necklace, a game-breaking item that merges the effects of 7 accessories, but thanks to his cursed luck, some expensive trash items combine randomly before he even purchases the item. The merchant demands a 10 million compensation, and Haruka is broke again. Heading back to the forest, Haruka stumbles upon a carriage under attack and wipes out the bandits effortlessly. The carriage belongs to Mariel, daughter of Lord Omui. Haruka talks trash about Omui without realizing who she is, and when he finally does, too late. Now, Mariel refuses to leave until she proves her city's worth. Meanwhile, the delinquents and the jocks are gearing up for an all-out battle, but before they can even throw hands, a hooded figure straight up murders one of the delinquents. He quickly turns into a full-on massacre. The entire delinquent group is wiped out by the hooded figure. Meanwhile, Mariel brings Haruka to Lord Omui as a thank you gesture, rewarding him with money and a citizenship ID. Haruka, completely uninterested, he dips respectfully. Later, class rep tries to keep Haruka from leaving, unaware that his new ID lets him walk out whenever he wants. On his way back to his cave, Haruka finds the jocks badly wounded. Turns out they were ambushed by the hooded student, and now the next target is class rep because someone wants hijack skill. After healing the jocks, Haruka trains himself, combining skills to create something new. After taking down a goblin emperor, he levels up and creates a new skill made of a lightning fast attack with instant activation. With his new skill, Haruka finally confronts the hooded student, Tanaka. And surprise, Tanaka is just like Haruka, a former loner from their world. But here's the twist. He's the reason the class fell apart. He manipulated the delinquents, orchestrated orchestrated the entire split and planned to kill off everyone. Tanaka pulls every magic trick, but Haruka barely flinches and absorbs his fire magic with his combined magic staff. Tanaka's trump card is Copycat, a skill that steals ability, but there's a catch. Haruka isn't giving him anything good to copy. Desperate, Tanaka spams attacks, but nothing lands. He finally asks, why aren't my skills working? Haruka just smirks and say, oh, I've been using my dummy body. My body's basically on autopilot, with no options left. Haruka calls Tanaka out. He never trained, just stole skills. Then one final made-up attack, and Tanaka is defeated. The nerds patch Haruka up, the girls apologize, and Haruka, he's already trying to escape, until class rep who worried sick catches him in a tight hug. The rest of the girls scold him all night, and just like that, the class's biggest threat is gone. The nerds, being peak nerds, are obsessed with an artifact that can make them popular with women. Naturally, Haruka decides he wants it first, but not for power, but to avoid another round of a girls group scolding. On his way, he wipes out an entire orc horde like it's nothing, but when he returns to town, he gets yelled at again, this time for being reckless. Hearing about a charisma boosting ring hidden deep in a dungeon, Haruka heads in alone, but turns out some classmate overheard his plan and secretly follow him. Inside, things take a dark turn. Haruka accidentally falls to level 101. Instead of dying, he lands completely unharmed, right in front of the final boss room. Inside the room, Haruka faces the Dungeon Emperor, a terrifying skeleton warrior with insane skills but zero bloodlust. Something is off. He realizes the Emperor is being controlled by a mysterious dark miasma. Haruka purifies the miasma with holy magic, revealing the Emperor's true identity, a warrior named Angelica, who just wanted to die in peace. Trying to mercy kill her, Haruka accidentally uses Subjugate instead, resetting her to level 1. Now, they climb back up, fighting every monster along the way. Haruka one-shots the Dungeon King with his maxed out luck stats, and Angelica loots his corpse like a pro, gaining a new armor and a refined human form that Haruka doesn't know yet, thinking she's just a skeleton inside the armor. Meanwhile, class rep and the girls reach level 50 in order to save Haruka. Haruka, still speedrunning, pushes past floor after floor until the dungeon starts shaking. A monster army is on the move. Outside, Lord Omui orders the guild to stay on high alert. Storm clouds are gathering around the dungeon, signaling big trouble. The town Omui is in serious danger. A massive monster stampede is barreling towards it. Lord Omui sends out reinforcements, but they need a miracle. Meanwhile, class rep and the girls hit floor 54, where they defeat a pack of werewolves. Soon, Mary and After join the girls to search for Haruka, thinking he's the only one strong enough to stop the stampede. Elsewhere, Haruka and Angelica are cruising through floor 81, a water-themed level. Haruka baits the fish-type boss using dummy skill, then wrecks it. Haruka and Angelica speedrun the next 10 floors, and every boss drop goes straight to Angelica, making her ridiculously happy. On floor 74, a lava-filled hellscape, Haruka stumbles upon a massive vertical borehole connecting straight to floor 54. Using wind magic, he establishes communications with the girls. That's when he hears the worst news possible. The only way to stop the stampede is to kill the dungeon boss, which means killing Angelica. Haruka decides to find another way to stop the stampede without sacrificing his new companion. The monster are closing in on Omui, and Haruka and the girls are the town's last hope. Back at the dungeon, Angelica notices Haruka struggling and urges him to rest, but he refuses until he collapses on floor 69, forcing Angelica to carry him. On floor 54, class rep's group is stuck with a sphinx that demands a puzzle answer. Before they can even try, Haruka shows up and one-shots it. Finally reaching the surface, they arrive just as the monster stampede hits. The sheer number of enemies overwhelms the town, and fear takes over, except for Haruka. He signals Angelica, and she annihilates the entire stampede in one strike. And just like that, Omui is saved. Haruka's classmates thank him for selling dungeon loot at a discount. The class rep isn't satisfied. She demands a proper introduction to Angelica. Haruka refuses, so she drags Angelica away for a full interrogation, and an inevitable bath scene where the girls realize Angelica is just like them. Later, Haruka trains his new skills in the forest with Angelica tagging along. That night, as a joke, he invites her into the bath, but she actually accepts, revealing her human form. Flustered, Haruka realizes that she regained her humanity because of him. He tells her that she doesn't have to follow him. She's free to do anything now. Angelica trembles at the thought of leaving, but he comforts her, sharing his story until sunrise to cheer her up. Over a month, the bond deepens, cooking, training, and living together. Then Haruka finally takes her back to the town, where she speaks for the first time. time. And just like that, the anime ends on a cliffhanger. Haruka chooses to stay longer, but is he really leaving Angelica behind? I would give this 5 out of 10. Haruka's whole gimmick is having trash skills but outsmarting everyone, which is cool, but nothing about him is actually loner suggested by the anime title. The girls won't leave him alone, and honestly they're kind of annoying. The story? Just another generic isekai with nothing new to offer. The animation is fine, but the characters' designs bland, forgettable, and copy-paste. Expressions are lifeless, and the pacing drags. It's not the worst isekai, but also not worth your time unless you're really desperate for one. Let me know if this is worth watching or a hard pass. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.